Pocketnow's Galaxy S8 coverage is brought to you by dbrand.
The issue with doing comparisons? We're always working with devices multiple months apart, putting the latest and greatest up against a phone released late last year, which should give you some indication as to how this comparison is going to go. But if you were in the market to buy a phone today, these would be your options. Starting off with design, Samsung scores an easy win here. The S6 was Samsung's first glass-back phone, but from then to now, we see more evolution than what Apple has been able to accomplish over the same amount of time. The main differences from the iPhone 6 to the 7 Plus are new color options and this bulging camera housing, which would likely force you to buy a new case for a phone that is otherwise identical to the older iPhone. Glass versus metal is still a fun debate down in our comments. Owing to personal preferences though, I enjoy metal back phones more than glass, but I'd still like to see any manufacturer experiment with other materials for premium devices, like carbon fiber, Kevlar, or ceramics. The tech discussion between an Android and an iPhone is always tricky, and specs mean different things for different operating systems. The iPhone has always been able to eke out terrific performance with less stuff packed inside. The Galaxy, packing Qualcomm's bleeding-edge chipset, feels comparable in daily use. This isn't really a win or a loss, more this is the threshold we should expect from premium handsets now. What's not a contest though is display area. The iPhone has a fairly mediocre screen-to-body ratio, especially against the S8, where this infinity display was a primary focus for Samsung this year. Display quality is a closer fight though, where the 7 Plus is one of the more accurate LCDs we've reviewed, and our Galaxy is a touch on the ruddy side. There's also a question about resolution, where the Galaxy wins for having the more pixel-dense screen, but it ships out of the box with that resolution reduced. And it makes us question the practical benefit of resolution density for general consumers. Is 1080p all you really need? Debate down in the comments. Samsung's moved a few bits around for this screen, and the traditional home button is gone. In its place, a software home button with a pressure-sensitive bit underneath the glass. Now, there's no difference between a light tap or a hard press that activates the vibration. So the iPhone's approach to a buttonless home button is more consistent and maintains the feel of hardware better. Apple's Touch ID is also more familiar for the iPhone faithful, with Samsung moving the S8 fingerprint sensor to the rear. Ergonomically, I shift the Galaxy in my hand less to unlock, so here I prefer the occasionally smudged camera over the greater likelihood that I might drop a phone when using it one-handed. Where Apple used to have a nice lead for biometric security, Android is largely caught up, especially for mobile payments and third-party app support. Where the S8 takes the win is in greater flexibility for securing your phone, as simple or as strong as you want, from Face Unlock to the fingerprint sensor to the iris scanner. Encryption and passwords galore, you should be able to keep prying eyes out of your more sensitive information. For big multimedia-focused, bright screen phablets, the iPhone takes a win for runtime in our battery tests. The S8's larger battery capacity closes the gap well, but Apple's smaller screen and OS optimizations deliver noticeably better efficiency. The script flips on recharging, where using the included chargers, the iPhone is one of the slowest we've reviewed to top off the fuel tank. The S8 is a solid performer here and offers wireless charging as a fun perk. Now, we have crazy, in-depth camera reviews for both phones. If you check out the playlist link in this video's description, you can see in-depth performance and compare these two directly. As a quick summation, core photography performance for both phones feels similar to their respective predecessors. The iPhone will be one of the most consistent performers for folks relying on auto modes, has better HDR output, and better slow-motion video. The secondary zoom sensor is also a fun feature in good light, but not one that will be relied on as a core photography improvement. The S8 takes the win for low-light performance, still has the absolute fastest autofocus performance we've ever tested, and is a boon for folks who want to dig a little deeper into manual controls and options. As the better all-rounder for a larger swath of our audience, the Galaxy takes a win here. And I honestly never thought I would say this in a comparison against Apple, but the S8 also takes a win for audio. We enjoy the stereo speakers on the 7 Plus, but the tinier earpiece can introduce some unpleasant highs in some audio. While the S8 is only a mono-firing speaker, it performs much better against the iPhone than last year's phones. Samsung also kept the headphone jack, and we're happy to report this year it delivers playback numbers right in line with Apple's. Quality is a near tie, so Samsung wins for the convenience of not having to diddle a dongle, and the Galaxy arrives with nicer earbuds in the box. Lastly, it is important to reference software. I don't think anyone would be surprised that the iPhone has the more cohesive ecosystem. Samsung's Editions provide terrific flexibility in customizing, but that also means Samsung inherits some of the deficiencies of the Android platform. One such deficiency that's been coming up a lot with my family is messaging apps. Just trying to set up a video call with relatives almost sells iOS all by itself. That said, the S8 is an absolute powerhouse for multitasking, split view, and multimedia performance thanks in large part to Samsung's customizations, and ditto ergonomic considerations, where not only the width of the hardware, but software plays a part in making the Galaxy a bit easier to use on the go. So let's wrap this up. Where's that leave us between the Galaxy S8 Plus versus the iPhone 7 Plus? We're giving the S8 the overall win here for pushing more boundaries, but the bang for buck battle is a bit closer than we would have imagined. For all the talk of an Apple tax, $19 more will double the built-in storage over an S8 Plus, and these two still reach parity on a number of lifestyle features, like enhanced water resistance. Dollar for dollar, you do get more stuff with the Galaxy, but the core feature comparison gets us a lot closer than we would have thought. So this really sets the stage for Apple's next iPhone. We're seeing a general squeeze on premium hardware where sales at the high end are plateauing and mid-ranger competition is fierce. Rumors point to the most aggressive hardware update in Apple's iPhone history, but we're also expecting price tags to match as luxury gadgets get closer and closer to that $1,000 mark. We'll be revisiting this battle later in the year to see if Apple leapfrogs the Galaxy and how a future Note might rejoin the battle. And of course, we want to hear from you. What can manufacturers do to continue encouraging consumers to part with more and more cash at the high end of this market? Share your thoughts by dropping us a comment down below this video.
Hey folks, if you're looking to protect the glass on your Galaxy S8, give it a little bit more grip, or prevent all of those gnarly fingerprint smudges, you should just wash your hands, head on over to dbrand, where they've got a whole collection of really awesome skins for you to customize the look and feel of your Galaxy smartphone. There's a link for their wares down below this video, and we thank dbrand for supporting production on this channel.
As always, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for our full Galaxy S8 coverage, with more comparisons on the way, and help us out with some sharing on your favorite social networks. For Pocketnow, I'm Juan Carlos Bagnell, some gadget guy on Twitter and Instagram, and I will catch you all on the next review.